Hey everybody, Jeff Sutherland, Courtney Twist. We're here at Broker Rehab. What's up, Courtney?
Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Good, it's good. We got a spicy topic today. We're talking about tech and how all of your agents are coming to you saying, will you give me a website? Will you give me leads? You do provide a CRM, right? All these things, right, Courtney?
Oh yeah, especially the lead one. We hear that a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to unpack that a little bit today. We're going to talk about those, and we're going to talk a little bit about AI on some things that you could say to your agents to get them to think a little bit more deeply about their questions and maybe how they can bring some skin to the game themselves. Because there's a constant pressure as a broker to continue to keep up with the Joneses, to keep up with your competition and technology. Did you ever experience that, Courtney?
Oh yeah. I mean, who hasn't as a broker? You think you've got to give them all the shiny objects basically to keep them, and that's just not actually true.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, Courtney, what did you say like when people said to you, "Hey, do you have any leads?" Like, how did you respond to that?
Oh yeah. I have definitely had that. I'm sure every broker can relate, and or where I have provided them for free and they weren't worked at all. And I thought, what am I doing? What a waste of money.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, I'm going to go buy some leads. I'm going to give them out, and you're going to charge X amount of percent. And on paper, it looked pretty good, right? You're thinking this is a good ROI for this investment.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, these will get more leads than I can work myself. We'll hand them out. They're going to call them right away. And my CRM is going to let me track it. And it's going to be so great. Not
So
good. Even like pizza nights, trying to call the leads in the office, pizza and beer. Nope. Nobody want to do it.
you even bought them pizza and beer, and they still didn't do it.
Well, we attempted. It was like not even very well received.
So if you gave 100 agents those leads, how many do you think would actually work the leads?
Oh gosh, Jeff. I'm going to guess, I would say what? 10, 15% of them would actually work them the way you would want them to be worked. Do you think
Yeah.
I'm off on that?
I would say maybe even less. Maybe even less. Yeah. Because like, to work an internet lead, it takes months, and it takes tenacity, and it's just I've tried it, by the way, and I even got it down to like, hey, I'm gonna bring in my top 5 people, and I even tried to measure it. Like if they don't do this stuff, I'm gonna kick them out of the program. Still, it was a lost leader, lost money, and it just wasn't losing money. It was my time I put on the program. It was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, because you got to implement it and train everybody. And then you've got that whole, rollout when you're bringing in the CRM or wherever you're bringing the leads from on how to use it, where you get a dip in production as everyone's learning and then proceeds to not even log in most of the time.
Yeah, so
Right.
the moral of the story is you get something for free and, you're not gonna have the effort, right?
Yeah, you got to have skin. Everyone has to have skin in the game. I have learned that hard lesson after 20 years in the business and over a decade of leading people. Skin in the game.
So how do you put skin in the game with leads? Do you have any ideas on that?
I think that they need to help pay for them. I don't think you do. I think you have to work for your business, and the agents that are going to be successful are the ones that are willing to pound the payment, have some grit, recognize the value of everyone's time as an entrepreneur, and be willing to participate. If you hand them out for free, they just are not worked the way they're supposed to be. Period. Full stop.
So maybe make them pay for it up front then, at least half, or put some skin in the game up front on a monthly basis or something like that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the cost of where your leads are coming from. I know for my company, I used Boomtown and then I paid for Google and pay for click leads, and I did not charge them. They picked out their zip codes and I provided them. But I think in retrospect, I would have said, all right, if you want leads in this area, you're going to pay this percentage of it either per month or per transaction. I don't know. It's hard to do it if you do it off conversions because it takes so long. I think the average internet lead is 2 years. So from
Yeah.
start to
Absolutely.
finish.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's sometimes not congruent with the culture you might be wanting to build in your company. But if you're building a company around relationships and relational business, where you're doing transactions for families, like sometimes 4 generations, do you want to teach relational tactics or do you want to teach transactional tactics? I mean, do you think that's maybe part of it, something to think about as an owner?
Well, I definitely grew my business that way. I didn't pay for leads at all for myself ever. Like Zillow, nothing. I built it all from local level, my sphere of influence, volunteering in every single nonprofit imaginable in my little small town, and my branding. My branding was a big part of it. However, when I started my brokerage, at some point I felt like I needed to get into the online lead realm, if nothing else, than to get our website out there and pay for certain terms, right, to keep it up at the top. And I think that's kind of where it started, and then from there, it just was like this beast that I was feeding and
Yeah.
continuing to pay more and more and more, and every agent I brought on cost more, right?
Yeah. It just keeps on getting better and better. And technology obsolesces every 18 months. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like you're constantly having to upgrade, right? It's not like that thing that you bought a year and a half ago is going to continue to be used. You got to retool and everything constantly.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Yeah, you gotta watch your P&L really tight, when it comes to technology. This is definitely unexpected for me. What I would recommend is you get somebody that's good with technology, that has a level head on their shoulders, that can consult with you on what's absolutely needed, and you might wanna even, like, get somebody that's an advocate from the agent population that you have, somebody that's you're close with that you can they can maybe see it as a business owner too. That way they can kinda understand what you're going through, and if you have somebody like that as kind of a partner, they can kind of help share, the goal, right? The approach, because it's not like you don't want to invest in the business, but you do have to kind of temper that and govern that a little bit, right? You got to put a governor on it. You can't just, you can't spend your way out of business.
For sure. And I think you hit the nail on the head too. It's almost like you need an influencer. Who's an influencer in your company that's actually going to utilize it right, and they can champion it for you. And perhaps they get, a better deal on the leads if they help you get the others on board. That's something that I think could potentially help or work.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's shift focus on websites. We brought that up. So a lot of small independent brokerages don't have these shell websites, template websites to give to agents, and that's something a lot of agents ask for. So, what would be some solutions on that, Courtney? Share your thoughts on that.
Well, I will start by saying you and I have seen a lot of attrition, right? Agents coming and going over the years, whether it's in our brokerages or coming to EXP now. And I rarely ever hear an agent leaving a company because of a website. Have you?
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
It's
So,
usually because they don't feel appreciated. That's the number one reason.
yep.
Mhm.
It's they leave leaders. That's the reality, right? Usually they leave people when people leave, they're usually leaving their leader, or it could be other things. Or I guess in our business, it's more so because they're broke. They need to make some money. And
Yeah.
that's not usually becoming because they have a beautiful website or not. So we're going to get a little bit more into AI as we move along, but there are AI resources out there that can give you free websites, or your agents can build themselves free websites, right? Gamma.ai, that's one I use all the time for things. So I just think that it's overplayed. I think a lot of CRMs now can offer one that's perfectly functional if you learn how to tweak your templates. And that agents should learn how to do that for themselves. I think that's appropriate in my
Wow,
opinion.
that is such a good point. Like Gamma.ai, lovable, can make landing pages. There's, that excuse is kind of like old school, right? I mean, there's so many free tools nowadays. So for somebody to complain about no websites. So this is a good like thought. This is kind of a good segue for you guys that are listening out there in general, right? If somebody comes to you with a tech issue or they're questioning your value because of some tool, I bet you there's some tool out there that can do it for a minimal price or for free with AI, because everything that's coming out right now, it's unreal. as far as the value that it has. And the last thing I'll say on that is if somebody's going to leave, like you said, because of a website or one particular tool, they're probably not going to stay for good anyway.
Right. Agreed. And they're probably not looking, a lot of them aren't looking in the mirror. How
That's
is it them or is it operator error as far as them not appropriately working the leads or the business they have right in front of them? I think that that's, have you, are you doing an audit with your agents or what are they doing with their time? Or are they wanting all these things purely to stay busy? And busy is not profitable.
boom. That is so true. It's if you really kind of interview your agents and you ask them what their typical day is, I'm just going to tell you right now, most of your agents are not putting in probably a full day. They don't treat it as a full time job, and they wonder why they're getting part time results. When I owned a brokerage, people would start funneling in at 10, 10:30. I was at my desk at 7. I know, Courtney, you and I, we grind, right? And so, you know, you have to put in the work. You're an independent contractor. So, if you're looking for somebody to hold your hand all the time, then, you're probably not going to be able to feel, you're not going to feel like you're supported. But the best way that, people like Courtney and I support people is by empowering them and giving them the tools or showing them where to find the tools, right? And then helping them implement.
For sure. I think kind of going back to like the giving the leads and having them come from the CRMs and the agents will that are not very busy are often the ones that are asking for more leads and more and more and more, and they suck up your time, which we kind of discussed in our last episode a little bit too, right? The lower producers are the ones that usually take the most time away from the broker. And I think you can simply ask them, all right, show me your last 100 leads and show me document where you have called them and you've texted them and you followed up with them and what have you done. Show me your leads that you've added into the CRM from your sphere. I want to see it's very easy to see the proof of what is actually being done and what these agents are doing to take care of their clients or not.
That's such a good point. I used to kind of mess around with agents when they came in to get coaching. I'd say, "Hey, do you mind if I call the first 10 people in your database? Can you open it up for me right now? I'd like to call them, and I'd like to see how well you know them." They were so scared, Courtney. They didn't even want any part of that because it's like, whenever you bring in somebody for a coaching appointment and they're struggling in their business, I'd always ask them, "When's the last time you called your database?"
Mhm.
Same thing over and over. Oh, it's been a year. How do you even have a business if you haven't called your clients in over a year?
I know. They don't. They have a hobby.
It's a hobby, right? Yeah.
Brutal, but honest. And there's how many millions of agents are there in the US? Four,
I think there's like
four,
1 point, yeah, a lot.
a lot. And most are part time, as we saw from stats, where the average agent did less than one deal a year. I think it was. It's crazy the different level of competency amongst our agents. And yet often brokers they just start going down, or we start going down that path where we get a little tunnel vision and we're just not thinking very strategically of who we need to be pouring our resources and time into and who we do not need to be doing that with.
Again, another great point, right? We get focused on the 80% or the bottom 50%, and we kind of neglect the top 20%, right? And when you pour into that top 20%, they're going to attract other agents and you're going to continue to foster a culture. But when you're focused on the bottom, then what ends up happening is that people on the top actually leave, right? Your top people leave, and you kind of dumb down the culture, So I think that, it's really important. You have to know, just like when you're an agent, you need to know who's in your database, right? I teach that you need to classify your database. A pluses are referral partners, A's are ambassadors, B's are people that would do real estate with you if only they knew you were a real estate agent, because to them you're a secret agent, right? And then C's, new additions. You have to segment your database no different from if you're a broker. You need to know who your best top 20% are. You focus there and you build from there. And it just kind of starts to work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a great way to think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got CRMs, websites. tons of CRMs, right? I mean, I can probably think of 10 off the bat of people that use CRMs, and I've heard that over the years. They want the next and best, greatest CRM. My From my recollection, very few people use their CRMs to the best of their ability, to their potential.
Right. Which one are you using? KV Core or Bold
So
Trail?
yeah, I use, yep, use Bold Trail, and I also use some Go High Level, but
Mhm.
yeah, mostly Bold Trail.
Yeah, I use Bold Trail and I use Lofty as well. Both are really, really great. Boomtown got bought out by KV Core, which became Bold Trail. A lot of similarities amongst those. And they're definitely starting to continue to roll out more and more AI just as part of the experience, which is nice. And I find it to be pretty easy to use.
Don't you find, Courtney, that like the basics, people don't even know how to do the basics, like mass emails, videos, texting through their CRM, monthly e-newsletters.
Yeah. You have to take the time and train yourself before you train your team, right? Or at least have somebody training you guys concurrently, because they just it's a robust system and it's so rarely used, like you said, to its full capacity. Plus, they keep making changes and improvements. You just kind of have to stay on top of it, just like with any technology.
See, you brought up another good point. Let's say you have a person on your staff. Let's say you have like 10 agents. You have a smaller brokerage, but you have a person that really loves to train. And there's a lot of agents that really love to give back just because they enjoy training others. It's awesome. What would be wrong with talking to them and saying, "Hey, will you train? This is your skill. This is your secret sauce. Can you train on technology, things like the CRM? And in turn, I can give you a reduced cap, something like that." I've done that in the past. Have you done anything like that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I kind of what we were saying, where we had our little champion that did the trainings first and would helped me to implement it,
Yeah, it's good.
or
That's
on
good.
tests and stuff.
Yeah, and right now, I think that as brokers, you have to stay on top of things, and you don't have to be the expert on everything, but you have to know enough so people don't pull the wool over your eyes. Like,
Right.
right? With AI, for example, people are freaking out saying that this company is not offering enough AI tools, this and that. Maybe so, but you need to know at least the basics of AI, because I definitely believe, Courtney, that AI will not replace agents, but agents that use AI will replace agents that don't.
I
Um,
agree 100%. And I'm all in and I am loving it. My chat GPT has been down the last couple days and I feel like I'm dying. It's like I'm missing my cell phone. I realized how much I've been using it. I had to switch to Gemini. So now I'm learning a new one.
what do you use ChatGPT for the most?
Oh my, I literally use it for absolutely everything. I've replaced my Google searching with chat. I have it on my phone. I have it on my laptop. I have multiple projects, whether it's like a social media campaign. I coach the marketing plan team for the high school, have a whole project for that built out. Scripts, my YouTube, of course, the typical, right? Property scripts, a lot of marketing stuff, I would say, plus just deep research, like my market reports that I go over with my team and clients every month. That's all. I plug in the data and it helps me analyze it. And what used to take me so long is just like that now.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Hmm.
Interpreting the market. I'm sure you're getting very good at prompt engineering, right? You know how to put pretty good prompts in there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, we also have Phil Stringer in our organization who is amazing. I've gone to every class that he offers, and he is so good. And there's just so much you can do with it.
Yeah, this is so cool. And Courtney, I think we need to have like separate sessions on AI alone so we can teach people how to use it properly. Um,
Agreed.
because you're amazing at it. So, I think in general today we're talking about tech, and we could go down so many different other topics like G Suites and email platforms and things like that. I think you need somebody that understands technology, and I believe you need to scale slowly and not. You have to keep up with technology, but what I mean is be methodical about it. Just don't pull the trigger on every little thing that somebody comes to you with some shiny object, or else you're going to have a P&L problem.
Agreed. Which many brokers do, many agents do.
Yeah, and the cause of this is not necessarily a technology issue. It's because we're not teaching our agents on how to lead generate, and it's still a relational business.
Right.
You know, even if you didn't know how to do anything in AI and you struggled mightily, if you got on the phone every day for 2 hours, you'd probably be successful.
Oh, for sure. Just so many agents have call reluctance, myself included sometimes, as
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Sometimes you're just like, ugh, not in the mood. I don't feel like it. But man, once you start doing it and you start getting some yeses in there, it's like the best feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome. So should we do our little broker recharge?
I think we should. End of every episode, we're gonna have Mr. Jeff lead us in some fuel for our souls. Let's get recharged. And
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Because I know Courtney's got some sports to go see tonight, right? So
that's true. Little
yeah, that's good.
basketball in my future.
I love it. I love it. Um, so focus as a broker and as a leader on what you're great at and double down on that and pick something you want to master over the next 90 days. One of the worst things you can do is spin too many plates and then you start to become mediocre at so many different things instead of becoming great at one or two things. So give yourself some grace and focus on becoming even better at what you're great at, what God's given talent was for you, instead of always trying to follow that squirrel or shiny object, because that's kind of dangerous because then you'll just delude yourself. You'll be exhausted. You'll be totally demoralized. Right. And you got to stay in your sweet spot. Like for me, my sweet spot is coaching agents, attracting agents. I know what I'm good at, and I also know what I'm not good at. So I try to outsource or get leverage through other really good people in the areas that I'm not good at. And then over time, I learn it, like this AI thing. I'm dedicating 2026 to keep up with Courtney when it comes to AI.
I think you're already keeping up, Jeff.
Yeah, I just had this amazing thing I was using last week, Courtney. I was in a conference up in Michigan, and I was using an AI pendant. Did I tell you about this?
Is that where it records you?
Yeah, it records everything it hears all day. But now Meta bought this company. Meta bought the company called Limitless, and it's an AI pendant. And you have to now disclose when you have a recording on. You have to put the light on. But I always do anyway. Whenever I use it, I just say, "Hey, listen, this conversation is important to me. Do you mind if I record it? Because I might go back and I might want to listen to it again." And usually people are like, "Yeah, that'd be great." But what I'm doing is I'm taking all that input all day and I'm downloading it into a knowledge base, and I'm creating a complete AI machine for myself. So I can put out training, I can put out guides, which will be going out in 2026, free guides for how to do AI, how to have an enhanced AI real estate business, all these things. So these are just all the little tools we want to share with you guys as we move forward.
I love that. I'm gonna have to do that. That's a great idea, Jeff.
Well, occasionally I have one. Occasionally.
Wow. Well, I think this is good, and I agree. Definitely one of our future episodes. Let's dive in a little bit more on the AI because I think you and I are both very passionate about it, and there's just so much that we could get into.
Yep. So we hope people put your comments in the chat, right, Courtney? I mean, we want to hear from you guys. We have a whole lineup of topics, but we want to hear from you. What do you like? What do you don't like? What would you like us to talk about? We're all in. Whatever you want is what we'll give you.
Yeah. Or if you want to be on here with us, again, we would love to have you as a guest and hear from you directly. So make sure you check us out on our YouTube channels, All Things Twist and the Jeff Sutherland Show. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Peace.